ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। मौनेन मज्जन्मनसा स्वमूल चर्चैव सत्यात्मविचारणं स्यात् एषोऽहमेतेन्न मम स्वरूपम् इति प्रमासत्यविचारणाङ्गम् गवेषणात् प्राप्य हृदन्तरं तत् पतेदहन्ता परिभुग्नशीर्षा अथाहमन्यत् स्फुरति प्रकृष्टम् नाहङ्कृतिस्तत्परमेव पूर्णम् गवेषणात् प्राप्य हृदन्तरं तत् पतेदहन्ता परिभुग्नशीर्षा अथाहमन्यत् स्फुरति प्रकृष्टम् नाहङ्कृतिस्तत्परमेव पूर्णम्। गवेषणात् प्राप्य gaining. Gaveshanat, after a lot of enquiry. What kind of enquiry? Self-enquiry. Gaining after a lot of self-enquiry. Gaining what? Gaining the truth of the I. And yesterday we saw in detail what the self-enquiry entails. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, we saw that. And then we can also say here, since the word enquiry comes again, we can talk of it in the form of assimilating Mahavakya Vichara. And what is this Mahavakya Vichara? Assimilating the Mahavakya is called Mahavakya Vichara. Mahavakya is the sentence which shows the oneness between Jiva and Ishvara. That is what is called Mahavakya. Like a classic Mahavakya example is what? Tattvam Asi. You are that. What is that? Jagat Karanam Brahma, the cause of the universe. And you are one with the cause of the universe. This is what is Mahavakya. And so, in the elucidation of the Mahavakya, in the unfoldment of the Mahavakya, in the assimilation of the Mahavakya, it is exactly like an equation. If a fourth grader is told 5 plus 4 is equal to 100, minus 93 or something like that, if the fourth grader is told, very confused, what is this? On the one hand plus sign, on the other hand minus sign, and then single digits on this side, double digits. How can it be equal? It cannot be equal at all. How can it be equal? It is absolutely not equal. And but the 8 or 9-year-old cannot say, I believe you to the teacher. I trust you. If you are saying it, it must be correct. No. That 8-year-old has to do this equation for himself, herself, and then come to this understanding. That is the whole idea. And what does doing the equation mean? You have to actually do 5 plus 4 and arrive at 9. Like this. You have to you have to arrive at 9. You have to know 5 plus 4 you have to do, and then on the other side you have to take away, I said 93, 91, I think. So anyway, so you have to take away that and find out what is there, and then arrive at 9 there too. So this side, one side is Ishvara, another side is Jiva. So we usually start with Tvam Pada Vichara. Tvam Pada. Tvam means that which is included in the word you. Vichara, enquiry into the word you. This is what is called Gaveshana. Does one inquire into you? You means what? What is this you? You here means all that constitutes you. What do you think of yourself as you? Well, body. All right. Does the body count here in the message of the Upanishad? No. Okay, that is not taken into account. Mind. Does the mind count? Well, it should count, but it doesn't, right? No. Okay, so that is taken out of the equation. And then senses, do they count? No. And then your possessions, is this part of you? No. And so, what is this I? The you that is referred to in the Upanishad, one refers to oneself as I. And so, what is this I? This I is nothing but the Shuddha Chaitanya, Satchidatma, Satchidananda Atma. That's what this I is. It's nothing else other than the Satchidananda Atma. And so this Satchidananda Atma is I plus a body mind sense complex. It's a value added plus. It makes no difference to the I if it is there or if it is not there. It makes no difference to the I at all. It's a value added plus. It's an as though plus. And in fact, that's what it is. The body is an as though plus. And what does it give you? It gives you the ability to move. Oh, that's not a big deal. Yeah, but more than that, it gives you the ability to complain. Oh, it's paining here today. Oh, it's the elbow. Oh, it's the back, it's the front, it's the sides. And as one grows older, tell me, how is your body? If somebody asks how much time you got, you can say, how is your body? Another answer, you can say, just ask me what is not aching. That is easier to list because everything is aching. And so the body, the body is completely like this all the time. So the body is an as though plus. It's a plus. It's a value added plus, as it were, to the I, because you can move because you have a body. You can sit for classes, thank God. Otherwise, if one was a Brahma Rakshasa, some kind of a disembodied preta, some disembodied entity, then you can't even attend the class. And Brahma Rakshasa is a special kind of a ghost. A ghost, a person who knew music but did not share it with anybody. This is what we say. It's a particular kind of a ghost. So, a lot, and okay, if you say, oh, maybe they were living in a remote area and students did not come, lots of people came and said, please teach me, please teach me, please teach me. No, I want to enjoy it all to myself. Or taught half heartedly and kept all the juicy secrets for himself, herself, whatever it was. How to unfold this raga, how to put masala in it and make it more exciting. All this, the musician was jealous of his or her own students, didn't want them to get it, kept it all to himself, herself. After death, sitting on a tree, disembodied Brahma Rakshasa. So, what can you do? Then you'd feel bad. Oh, I should have taught. Why didn't I teach? Look at my gati now. Why didn't I teach? I should have taught. And then so whoever sits under the tree, you try to make them sing, okay? Because you're trying to make up for how what all you did not do. So what's the fun in that? You can't study Vedanta, you can't teach music, you can't sing. The body, even this complaining body, is a plus. The mind is a plus. The senses are another plus. They're all as though, as though, as though, as though, as though. And so, what is this I? The witness of all of them. That which is the truth of all of them in the form of that awareness is the body. Unaffected by the body is the Atma, the I, unaffected by the body, the mind, the senses, nothing. So this is what yields the Tvam Pada Vichara. This is what it yields. Then then we have to do the same thing. On the other side also we have to do what is called tat pada vichar. The tat pada means word. The word tat has to be understood properly. Tat means Jagat Karanam Brahma Ishvara. And whenever we say the word God, the head flies up. And then you'll need a chiropractic treatment because you're looking for God somewhere up above. And if God, and then there are all these, even in the Hindu theory, some of the beliefs in the certain sects of the Hindu tradition, God is sitting in a place called Vaikuntha, called Kailasa. This is all terrible. Because if God has a location, then it is not God, it is odd. Okay, the G has to be taken away, and so it is truly odd. How can God, that is all pervasive, omniscient, and which has which is who is just is spread in the form of this universe? How can this God be separate from the universe? And then so then on the other side of the continuum we have this I forgot what it's called, pan something, not pantheism. It starts with pan and then it has one more syllable and then theism. I forgot the name of it, but it's like that's the belief that God has become the universe. If God has become the universe, that is also not God. That is the universe. That is also odd. It is not God. Why? Because then where do I pray? And so you can't sort of say God has become the universe. Then there is no more God, there is just the universe. God has as though projected the universe with a power, the Maya Shakti, which projects this universe, which is non-separate from what we call Bhagavan. And that Bhagavan alone is that. What is that Bhagavan? Self-effulgent awareness. This is exactly what the I is. The vichara into the tvam pada, the word tvam yields the I, that is the self-awareness, self-effulgent awareness. And the analysis into the word tat also yields self-awareness, self-effulgent awareness. That is what it yields. And so therefore this is exactly the truth. This is exactly the truth of this I. And so this is the Mahavakya, that I in the form of self-effulgent awareness is non-separate from Ishvara. Ishvarahood is mithya, a dependent reality that is dependent upon this self-awareness, self-effulgent awareness. Jivahood, jivaness, the status of being a jiva is also an independent being, so to speak, is also mithya. That which is satyam is that awareness alone is satyam. So this is what is called here as gaveshana. Gaveshanat prapya hridi. Hridi means in the heart. Prapya, having gained in the heart. Hridyantaram tat, having housed the tat pada in your heart. Having housed that Ishvara, which is the cause of the universe, which is the consequence of your vichara, into the Tvam-pada and the Tat-pada, and having housed that in your heart. It's not that you catch hold of Ishvara and stuff it in the heart. Ishvara is already there in the heart. But with the Antahkarana becoming clear and with all the Raga Dveshas settling down, and just like a sludgy water which is just stirred with a stick, what happens? It just becomes reddish brown in color. But you go away for a half an hour walk, leave it alone and come back, and all the silt and the sludge has gone to the bottom. All the raga dveshas like that are not always stirred up. And then Bhagavan shines because Bhagavan already is there as the truth of oneself. So then, Hridi Antaram, in the Antahkarna, having gained that, what happens? Patet. Pated ahanta. The ahankara falls. How does it fall? Paribhugna shirsha. Headlong it falls. So if the ahankara had a body, it would have an extra big head. And then of course it falls like Humpty Dumpty. It falls headlong. Head first it falls. Head bent forward it falls. Pated ahanta. Paribhugna shirsha, like Ravana. This is all an allegory. The whole Ramayana is a very, very beautiful allegory. Rama is Atma, naturally. That's why there is even a name Atma Rama. Rama is the I. Rama is Atma because the etymology of his name is Ramante Yasmin Yoginaha. Those the one in whom the yogis revel, the meditative beings, the contemplative beings, the one in whom they revel is called Ram. It is the Atma. The joy of the Atma is Rama. And then what is Sita? Shanti. So as long as she is there, there is Shanti. She signifies the embodiment of Atma Jnanam, self knowledge. And then what is Ravana? Atma Ajnanam. That is what it is. Ravana is Ajnanam. That's why he has 10 heads. A symbol of indecision, a symbol of confusion, indecision, fear, insecurity, and lot of ego. 10 heads. Atma Ajnanam, completely manifest. This is what it is. So, this Ravana is a very bad fellow. Well, bad means what? He has gone bad. That's what it is. It is up to us to train the ahankara. In fact, he's from a very religious family. He's the son of a sage. And some of his writings have still survived. He is believed to have authored some, what is that called? Some bhashya for this Sankhya philosophy he wrote on. And he was an Ayurvedic master. So he wrote all these things about how to treat certain very difficult ailments. All these things are ascribed to him. And what all did he not know? Music, he was an expert. Samaveda, he was a Samavedi. He was a Brahmana. Meditation, he was an expert. Chanting Samaveda, he was an expert. He was a great writer. He was a poet. He was a musician. But then somehow, all these, he was like, what's the word for it? A master of all the things he followed. Still no satisfaction. This is ajnana. Even though he knew so much, no satisfaction whatsoever. I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. Fought with all the devas. Give me world domination. I want world domination. I want 10 heads. I want this kind of a strong body. 10 heads and 20 arms and 10 legs was a gift from Lord Brahmaji. And he started to fight with him. You have 4 heads. Why don't you give me 10? Why don't you give me more than? Okay, take. Lord Brahma wanted to get rid of him. Okay, take. And so the 10 heads he got. And then what? The Ajnanam, Atma Ajnanam, always kidnaps, hijacks the Shanti that is belonging to you. That is how Sita is kidnapped. Then Hanuman, symbolizing bhakti and shraddha, that is how to gain this back. Bhakti and shraddha are the ways to gain this Shanti back. And that is why she is called Vaidehi, means she who is without a body. because she's all pervasive. This Shanti is so dear to everybody. Shanti doesn't have a body or is not confined to a particular place or a particular time or anything. Then that's why the quantum leap of Hanumanji, a leap of faith, a leap of Shraddha, a wonderful leap. And, he goes there and then brings a proof. He brings a ring belonging to her and says, okay, I have seen Sita. And this is what she said. She's blessed you to come and rescue her and all these things, and you should do that. Because till then, her whereabouts were not known. Nobody knew who had kidnapped her. And who had kidnapped her? Atma Ajnanam. Under the spell of Atma Ajnanam. The word Ravana means the one who causes a terrible cry. Yeah. Ru plus, Ru plus Anam. So that Anam suffix causes Vridhi. And so Ru becomes Rau. Rau plus Ana, Ravana. Ravana. Ravana means it's kind of causal, that which causes samsara. Because samsara only you cry and you wail. This is what it is. Because of the veil of Maya, you sit and wail. And so this is what it causes. And so Ravana is the embodiment of samsara. Why? Because of Atmajnanam, he has everything. And the 20 arms and hands, meaning multitasking, busy all the time. All the time. In every year they burn the effigy of Ravana. And in one of them, I saw a photo. He was holding phones and tablets to symbolize the confused minds. Every hand was holding some kind of iPod, iPad, this, that, and everything to symbolize the confused and the preoccupied mind, which is telling itself that, oh, I have so much to do, and then busy all the time. So before they used to have, gada, some kind of a mace and club and sword. Now these are these devices kill. They kill us first and then they kill others also. So this is what is Ravana, the embodiment of samsara. Then Rama goes and then he thinks, oh, okay, I should just cut off one head, two heads, three heads, four heads, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and then this will be a short battle, it will be done. Oh, he was so wrong. One head he cut. It went 2 inches up in the air, came and sat down, and then as though there was gorilla glue on his neck, and it got fixed there. Another head he cut. That also came and sat down. Third head he cut. And he repeatedly was keeping on cutting the head. But then Ravana nobody liked. Even though he was the king of Lanka, he was the king of a small island, Sri Lanka. Still, nobody liked him. Even his own brother Vibhishana was against him because he was against Dharma. That's why. And even his charioteer, Matali, he was also against him. And the charioteer said to Rama, tapped him on the shoulder and said, you know what, you're doing this all wrong. The head is going to do this. You need to take that one astra, Brahmastra that you're saving for God knows what, and aim it at his heart, not at the head. The heart is the seat of the ahankara. That is what it is. That is Atma Ajnanam. And so he aims at the heart, and then Atma Ajnanam, Ravana, the one who causes everyone to cry and wailing, makes a wailing noise, and himself is dead. This is the whole chapter in Yuddha Kanda. In the Ramayana, it is described extremely well, beautifully, very, very poetic. And so this shows us that this Atma Ajnanam, if you just tackle one part of the ego, nothing. The ego goes to sleep every now and then. In sleep, the ego is happy. And then the ego can be pacified. You take it to the movies, you give it something to do, you are, doing something with it, and it's okay. For a while, it lets you do whatever you want. After that, it attacks again and again if it is not properly, if it is not properly taken care of. And so, therefore, what? So, therefore, to take care of this ego, there is a upaya. And what is this upaya? If you ask, go to the heart of the matter. Swavichara moolam. This is what he keeps saying. Go to the heart of the matter. That's why the ego cannot be killed, need not be killed. The ego has to be lightened of the burden of thinking that it is the doer and it is guilty and it is hurt. And that is what it has to be lightened. It has to be lightened. The ego has burden has to be lightened. And so, therefore, now what? Now, the main thing is to understand that this ahankara falls headlong when this enquiry is done. That enquiry was, aimed at the heart. That's what it is. The heart is what is sad. The heart is what is mad. The heart is what is fearful and tearful and angry. So the self-enquiry goes straight to the heart of the matter. And then samsara drops for the person. Samsara drops for the person. No more Ravana. No more Ravana at all. No more samsara. No more ugly ego heads keeping on coming up because the person is now free. The person is completely and totally free to be who they are. Very, very nice. Pated ahanta. Ahamta means I-ness. The I notion. Pated. Headlong. Bhugna shirsha. Head first it falls. Then what happens? Then, when this ahankara falls, then there is an opening. And what is this opening? Atha, now, aham anyat spurati prakrishtam. Another eye shines clearly. Array, how many eyes are there? What do you mean another eye shines clearly? This is what it is. This is the duality. This is the split personality. This is why everybody runs to Vedanta. When they discover this split personality, everybody runs to Vedanta because of this. And what is this? This is the feeling that there are two people within me. The one who is contented, the one who is happy, the one who has no problems, and the one who is extremely appreciative of the whole universe and of oneself also. No criticism, no self-loath, no self-judgment. This is the I that one confronts and one yearns to be. But then, more often than not, one is in touch with the other I. Which other I? The I that is always saying, me, why me? What's wrong with me? Why should I do this? How am I going to do this? What's going on over here? It's everybody else's fault. Why do I have this kind of a lot? Okay, do some prayers. I've did and nothing happens. Even Bhagavan is not giving anything to me. And so, like this, this is the I that one knows more intimately than the other one. In fact, it should be the other way around. One should know the I that is happy, contented, and peaceful, tranquil. That one should befriend that, and one should become familiar with that. But it is difficult to become familiar with that because it is not present very often. And even when it comes, it goes away fast. Come on, stay, have a cup of tea. No, no, no. The other fellow is coming, I'm off. It's just like that story we tell children. Surya, the sun travels on in the sky. He has a uh, 7 horses chariot because the colors of the rainbow. 7 horses chariot he takes across the sky. Along comes Narada. Narada says, "Oh, I'm just here for the ride. Don't mind me. I'm just going to sit with you, spend the day with you." Surya says, "Everybody's afraid to come close to me. At least you are here. Come on, entertain me on this journey. Tell me, what are people in the earth doing? Is everybody doing Surya Namaskara? Is everybody doing? Yes, yes, everybody loves you. Everybody is doing sun salutations. In fact, yoga has gone from India to America and now it is back in India. Now even Indians are appreciating it because it is foreign return. And so now even Indians are doing Surya Namaskara. Everybody is happy and everybody is doing all this. They're all just very, very happy. And then, Narada, true to himself, just kind of suddenly falls silent. And what happened? What? But what? Who isn't worshipping me? Who isn't saying I'm the best, east or west? There's one lady who is not into you that much. What? Miss Night is her name. Her name is Ratri, means night. Where is she right now? Oh, she's in India right now. She's coming to India right now. Let's go there. And he just drives the chariot at breakneck speed, arrives in India at the crack of dawn. Narada, where is she? You just missed her. She left. she's she's in America right now. And so, like this, that's why the sun keeps traveling in search of Miss Night. And similarly, the Ahankara keeps wanting to know the I. But it's just like the Ahankara cannot know the I. Because the Ahankara is sitting on this poor I that it wants to know. It is stifling this I. The I cannot be seen. Like the I cannot be befriended. The I cannot be made, loved and understood and made familiar. Why? Because this fellow is sitting on it. This Ahankara is sitting on it and looking for it. Where did it go? Where? What happened? And so this is how it continues. So therefore, this Ahankara, it's not about destroying the Ahankara. It's about unseating it, dethroning it, unseating the Ahankara, dethroning the Ahankara. That is what is at stake here. Then what happens? So then, Pated Ahankara, then when this Ahankara falls, which one? The one you know so well, the one you know and love, love within quotes, not really love, but somewhat. You are used to it. The one, the Ahankara that you know is the Ahankara which symbolizes Ravan, makes everyone cry. One cries also, and then 10 heads, and then each head is going in a different direction, and lot to upkeep. Lot to upkeep. Imagine having 10 heads. One says, let's go to the movies. Another says, let's stay at home. Third one says, no, 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 let's pursue Vedanta. And the other 9 say, shut up. We are not going to study Vedanta. Vedanta, Shmedanta. What do you get out of this? Nothing. Keep quiet. Gag this fellow. And they put a piece of tape around that one's mouth. And then the other 9 are squabbling all the time. No, 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 let's do this. No, 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 let's do that. Let's go to their house. No, 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 we don't like them anyway. Why to go to their house? No, no, at least we can go and show off what all we have done. So let's at least go and make them burn in jealousy. For that reason, let's go. Can't agree on anything. Meaning no priorities. Everything is scattered. And one is not able to make up one's mind for anything. There is no, we talked about this yesterday or day before, there is no nishchayatmika buddhi. There is no vyavasayatmika buddhi. There are no priorities. And because there are no priorities, confusion reigns. One is unable to choose, and even when one is able to choose, one is tied up and bound and gagged and thrown thrown in the river, you know. And it's a matter of survival, and so therefore it is very, very difficult with all these heads rearing their ugly priorities and everything. Very distracting and very confining. This is what is samsara. Samsara is all right here. Why is samsara right here? Because this is exactly the place where samsara is recognized. Where it is recognized, that's where it obtains. So the Jagat is not samsara. Samsara is that which is situated between your temples. That is what samsara is. And in Ravana, it is what is that called? Shown in the form of these 10 heads. And that is basically what it is. Now, then, Atha, so now when these confused priorities and when these conflicted ideologies and when this priorities which have to do with trying to show off, trying to make a name for oneself, trying to, get something or the other, all these are taken care of. Then anyat aham spurati prakrishtam, the I that you were looking for, that you were sitting on literally. That's why you couldn't see it. The I that you want, which is the Satchidananda I. The I that is completely surrendered to Bhagavan because it knows I'm non-separate from Bhagavan. There is no Bhagavan other than I. From the standpoint of the Jiva, the body, mind, sense complex, yes, there is a Bhagavan. But then from the standpoint of the Atma, there is nothing outside of myself. This I rises. And then you may think, oh, this must be the 11th head. Oh no, I destroyed 10 heads and now one more Ahankara is coming. Ramana Maharshi assures us this is not Ahankara. And he says, Nahankritihi tat parameva. That is Ishvara alone. Why? There is the Purnatvat, that is the Hetu. Purnatvat. Purna means limitless. Because you feel limitless, because you understand your limitless nature, because you know that there is nothing more here, and you know that there is no more for you any kind of pain, sorrow, etc., that it is not there for you. And because of that, this is, therefore, it is not the 11th ego. The ten confused fellows have dropped like Ravana. And Sita, which is Shanti, is freed. She is Purna. And that is done through Hanuman, which embodies Bhakti and Shraddha. And what pierced the heart, the Brahmastra, is Brahma Vidya. Brahma Vidyastra. That is what Rama let go into Hanumanji's heart. It was given to him by his teacher, Agastya, and one of his, gurus. And so Agastya gave it to him, a sage. And then, so this knowledge that was received was then Ravana allowed it to pierce his heart. No more ignorant. That's why all these demons killed, quote unquote, by Bhagavan, by these avatars, they all get moksha because this is the killing of the Ahankara. And you see, all these deaths look very gory, but they're not gory at all. It is in fact the glory of Bhagavan we see here. It's the glory of self-knowledge. Even Prahlada's father, Hiranyakashipu, they were all devotees gone wrong. They were all highly qualified devotees, etc., etc. And then, this is something which is not which has to be understood properly. Devotees with a certain hubris become demonic. They are not devil or parallel reality to God. They are just devotees gone wrong. That's who they are. They are devotees gone wrong. And then there also, he had made so many boons. I should not be killed on the floor. Okay, tathastu. Then Bhagavan also get tired of saying tathastu. Whatever, the T word, tathastu, fine. And then I should not be killed in the in the air. Okay, I should not be killed inside the house. Oh, I should not be killed outside the house. Okay, fine, fine, fine. And then I should not be killed during the day. All right. I should not be killed at night. Okay. I should not be killed by a man or a woman. Okay. I should not be killed by a wild animal. Fine. Already. Enough already. Okay, okay. Yeah, I got these boons, right? Yes, you have these boons. But then there's always loopholes. Narasimha comes. Neither man nor animal. Half man, half animal. And then what? There is, neither inside nor outside. There's always the threshold. The threshold of the door is neither inside nor outside. Not on the floor, not in the air. Bhagavan just took him and put him on the lap. And then where that Manipura chakra is the seat of the ego, just tore it out. This is what it is. It's all metaphorical. It is all just very, very metaphorical. And that is what Brahma Vidya does. The Brahmastra which kills Ravana here is Ravana means samsara, Atma Ajnanam is the Brahma Vidya, is the Astra. And that is the weapon. Asanga Shastrena Dridhena Chitva, says the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So this upside down tree of upside down priorities, this samsara tree must be cut with the Shastra of, how do we say, Asanga. The Shastra of non-involvement is the Shastra. So through the Shastra of non-involvement, the Shastra of Vairagya, dispassion, this is how we cut the samsara tree. So here too, this is how the ahankara is no longer problem for such people. And then what is left is purnatvam, their own purnatvam, limitlessness, which they absolutely enjoy. Next one. अहङ्कृतिं यो लसति ग्रसित्वा किं तस्य कार्यं परिशिष्टमस्ति किञ्चिद्विजानाति स नात्मनोऽन्यत् तस्य स्थितिं भावयितुं क्षमः कः अहङ्कृतिं यो लसति ग्रसित्वा किं तस्य कार्यं परिशिष्टमस्ति किञ्चिद्विजानाति स नात्मनोऽन्यत् तस्य स्थितिं भावयितुं क्षमः कः अहङ्कृतिं ग्रसित्वा, ग्रस to swallow, grasitva, having swallowed the ahankara like a pill. Okay, yeah. After after lunch, take two, the doctor says. And then he just and here there are 10 pills because there are 10 heads. Okay, so take all of them and chase them down with a glass of water. Ahankritim yog grasitva lasati. Lasati means dances. Swallowed the ahankara, like a snake eating its own tail, swallowed herself swallowed the ahankara and then dances, having swallowed. Then the question may arise. This is what asked the question. Because once these ahankaras go away, then what am I supposed to do? There is no I notion. This is what people think. There is no I notion. And then there are no desires. How to spend the whole day? What will I do? You know, Morning, what will I do? Before, what were you doing in the morning? Oh, I was frantically making plans. I have to catch this, do that, catch that person, get this, get that. Oh, and whatever I did yesterday went wrong. So I have to go back and get this corrected and get this stamped and get this, whatever. I had all these jobs. But now I won't have any jobs. Oh, maybe I can watch what is that called? Netflix. I can watch Netflix. But then there is no desire. What a terrible life. I don't want this kind of a life. People do tell me this, they say things like, Swamini ji, before I started studying with you, at least I liked potlucks and, parties and then movies. And now all the desire for that is dropping. They say with the face also dropping. And then I say, but isn't that a good thing? Well, the desire for that is not there. And the desire for Vedanta is also not there that much. So I am betwixt and between. What is that called in Sanskritam? Ubhaya Brashta. The path of enjoyment no longer open to me, and the path of studies and Vedanta. Kathopanishad for breakfast, Kenopanishad for lunch, and for night Mundaka. And this is not my cup of tea, and so that is also not there. This is also not there, and here I suffer in between. Have patience. It will go. Don't worry. But then that does not tell me how does the jnani spend the day. So there is nothing to do. And if there's nothing that one has to do, then one's brain will atrophy. No Sudoku, no Wordle, no nothing. And just sit the whole day. What to do? Sit. How much japa can you do? You'll be all japad out. And what can you do? How much puja can you do? And so what will you do? You're not the doer, but how can you can't go into a permanent vegetative state and call yourself a jnani. Well, thankfully, it's not like that. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, there is a very interesting mantra in 442 or so thereabouts. And what is this mantra? It says, Atmanam chet vijaniyah. Atmanam chet vijaniyat. And then what? Ayam asmi iti purushah. Then kasya kamaya. Kimartham kasya kamaya. Shariram anusanjvaret. Atmanam chet vijaniyat. Chet means if. And why is the Upanishad giving the word if? Does it doubt that you will know the Atma? No, you will know the Atma, but it wants to emphasize that it's not a very easy pursuit. So if one knows the Atma, then what happens? Aham asmi, I am asmi, this is I alone, everything I, whatever I see is I. Everything is me alone. Kimartham, for which reason? Kasya kamaya, to fulfill what desire? Shariram, the body. Anusanjvaret, for what reason? To fulfill what desire will the person put his or her body in a feverish state of frenetic activity? This is the sentence. And you may think, oh, that's just a more or less rhetorical questions. What might be there in this sentence? The Panchadashi Kara, the author of the Panchadashi, has composed 297 verses on this one mantra. This is what is the seventh chapter of the Panchadashi. 15 chapters, so the chapter right in the middle, the seventh chapter, which has 297 verses, are all coming out of this one Upanishad Vakya. Kimartham kasya kamaya shariram anusanjvare. Atmanam ched vijaniyat ayamasmi iti purushah. If one knows I am the Atma, then what is there for the person to do? And this is where a lot of agitation happens in the heart. What will happen to technological progress? Because the person, if everybody gets moksha, dot, 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 then everybody will be just hanging out, not earning their living. And what will happen to the economy, says one. And how will the economy grow if people are not doing, says another. And the third one says, what about technological progress? Are you happier than your great, great, great grandparents? The answer is always no. Do you have more than they did? Yes. But still you are unhappy? Yes. Then what kind of a technological progress is this anyway? Who wants this anyway? And nowadays, it's all backward. Now, what is it? After first they said, okay, the milkman used to come home and milk the cow in front of you and say to the lady of the house, mother, see, I have not added any water. Actually, in the bucket there was a false bottom, and that already had some water, which nobody could see. So this is how we got our milk. And then what? Then we graduated to bottles. Then from bottles to the two bags, plastic bags, and from plastic bags to Tetra packs. And then after that, what? Oh, all these syndromes. What is that? Chronic something, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. All these very difficult, nobody knows how and why people are having it. And then and anybody who's suffering from these kinds of inexplicable maladies, first thing they are told, throw out all the plastic, throw out all the Tetra packs, move to the village and drink straight from the cow. And that is your answer. You have to live, go back to nature, go back to do this, go back to do that. So there's a big controversy raging there already. And so this is what it is. The human being is strange. For every step in the direction of what is called progress, there are two steps backward. There are two steps backward. And so anyway, so the person who has moksha, this is it's a mistake to say that the person is going to sit at home and grow into a bada mahatma, means big mahatma. Okay. Big doesn't mean sideways. Okay. So what it means is that if the person has Atma Ajnanam, then they have no compulsion to do anything. That's why the Upanishad Vakya says there is no frenetic activity to fulfill desires. In fact, they become the source of the fulfillment of your desires because they are not in competition with you. That's why the Mundakopanishad says, Atmagyam hi archayet bhuti kamaha. So people who want material things, please fall at the feet of the person of Atma Vidya. Why? Because then only your life is fulfilled, because they don't need any desires. You have a lot of desires. And so when you pray to them, their sankalpa, their intentionality, and if your prarabdha is not too strong to forbid that desire, their intentionality becomes the cause of the fulfillment of your desire. So because they don't have any desires. But that doesn't mean that they are lazy or sitting in one place. They are just not compelled to do anything. But they can help, and they often do, to serve the people, to help with so many things. There are so many people we know, so many saints who, starting with the distribution of food, education, homes, so many things they do. They're able to do so much because they have no agenda for their own lives. That is freedom. That is real freedom. They don't have to do anything. There is nothing that has to be done, and that is freedom, because everything that is done now, before the gain of this knowledge, is always done from a sense of compulsion. Got to do this, have to do this, must do this. And that sense of compulsion not being there, one is free to do or not to do. But then there is nothing, there's nothing to be gained from doing or not doing. May as well do if it is helping somebody, because I don't need this. If somebody else wants this and if I can help them, let me do that. In fact, the word sadhu means parakaryan sadhnoti iti sadhu. The one who is there for other people's serves others in their own way, whether it is through teaching, writing books, or going places, starting a movement, whatever it is. It all depends on that particular sadhu's prarabdha. Prarabdha karma means whatever karma they have, it depends on that. And so, if the karma of the sadhu is to travel and be active in that way, move from place to place, they will. This is called madhukari vritti, flitting from place to place like a bee. And then sometimes some sadhus just go sit in one village and they become world famous, even though they are sitting in one village, in one small village. The village also becomes famous. Everybody knows who they are. They become world famous. But they have not left that small village. This is called ajagari vritti. Ajagari vritti means like a python. Sit in one place and then get their bhiksha, or go from flower to flower and get their bhiksha. Like this, there are 2, 3 ways of moving. It all depends on one's karma. The karma of the body of the sadhu. The sadhu will not have karma, but the body of the sadhu will have karma. And so, depending on that karma of the body, mind complex of the sadhu, they will either be active in certain ways or be active in other ways. But what the point is that there is no compulsion to do. Usually, what we call the free will is not free at all. It is bound up in various desires out of which all actions emerge. And that is exactly the reason why one feels tied to action and then the results of action. Because whatever actions are unleashed, one is not fond of the results. And because one is unable to accept the results, then more actions are needed. Then one is not able to accept the results of the next set of actions, and then more actions. Result, action, result, action, result, action. And then after death also, there are so many desires. And then for those desires, a new body has to be called up. And then and it just migrates, and all this jiva, along with the mind, along with the sukshma sharira, migrates into another body, yet one more body, yet one more body, yet one more body, until one falls in the lap of the mother Shruti and allows her to embrace. That is basically what is needed. The teaching is like a mother. She comforts, and she finally stops this samsara, the transmigration. So, kim tasya karyam parishishtam asti. What kind of work is there for the jnani? No work is there, nothing to be done, nothing to follow, no injunctions to follow, nothing to give up. Then kinchit vijanati saha na atmanah anyat. The person doesn't know anything other than the Atma. It's all Atma, 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 Atma. Everything that the person sees is Atma. Whatever the person touches is Atma. It's all I alone. There is nothing other than me. And finally, Ramana Maharshi says, Tasya Sthitim, this kind of a situation, and whatever that jnani knows, bhavayitum, to imagine, kshamaha, capable, kaha, who is capable of even imagining what a jnani knows and why a jnani does something. Who is capable of imagining? A rhetorical question again, means no one is capable of imagining. Little more to discuss with this verse. We'll see that tomorrow. Um, Tonight there is a talk. What is the topic? Renunciation in daily life. On the same platform, this Zoom class, it is at what time? 5:30. 5:30 Eastern, Western time. West Coast time, 5:30 in the evening, and East Coast time, 8:30 in the evening. So that you can join right here. You can do that. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you very much.
Thank